All right, let's go ahead and you know what? I have a theory. I have a theory on some of these computer issues I've been having lately. I think pulling the scene has actually been part of it. I'm gonna have to fix that tomorrow when I have some time. Fix computer stuff. But oh well. All right, chat. Beginning of the stream. You know what we gotta do. Gotta stretch. Gotta stretch. Hopefully it wakes us up just a wee bit. Palms up. Shrimp. Ow. Crunchy. Very crunchy. Even in milk. Could do it. There, heroes! My name is Hero Girl. I'm your friendly local neighborhood hero tuber, and this is the Daily Grind. That time of the day where we come on and we grind our dailies. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. Today's Alchemy Day, chat. It's Alchemy Day. Because like I thought. Flicker in the sidebar. Flicker in the side of my eye. Thought of a horror show. Okay. Alchemy Strixhaven is here. I've already opened my bundle packs. Got most of everything, but we still have some stuff that I think we'll probably end up checking out because they're pretty cool. Things like advanced floral invocations here. This is a really cool class. But also, like, it's funny because advanced floral invocations is like the name of a class in which you go and you attend. When these cards were originally made for, like, you know, classes, i.e. like what type of character you're building in Dungeons and Dragons. So the fact that they just like have a class for a type of study now is really funny. And it's one I think we'll end up playing in Pain and Vanilla, actually. Some cool stuff. Variable Solutions is a cool card. Just like seeks up. The bare minimum is that it's a rampant growth for a land that you don't get to pick. I think this is probably going to be a slam dunk in any deck that's going to want a rampant growth, which is, you know, quite a few of them. Because it also just like, it's also removal. It also conjures creature. Also, it scales. It scales. So like, if X is 4 or more, you gain 2 life, and then you do all of the above, which means that you get to conjure a random creature with mana value X onto the battlefield. I.e., this is a Mormor Vig type of effect scaled in here that just it's valuable at any point in the game. Got bear. Got bears. You got turns your dead body into a statue. Cast a spell from your graveyard. All cards you own named Unbreakable Remnant perpetually get +1/+1. A 2/1 that's going to turn into a 3/2 as soon as it escapes. Got Bridge from Below. Bridge from Below at home. Which is also just Bridge from Below. We got Blood Age Muster, which is really... There's some really neat stuff in here. I always love Alchemy Day. We don't get this for the Universes Beyond stuff. But, like, this is all cool. And yeah, we got the Galithal Gale Caller, which, honestly, just as a 2/1 flyer that will sometimes make a bird, like, that's not nothing. Like, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. In fact, we have to play blue and black spells today. See if we can find... Double check and make sure that everything is good to go. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Go ahead and put the Gale Caller in. Also, I think I need to replace the Biden with piracy. Not the coastal piracy, but cycling. No, the recon mission. That's what it is. Yeah, replace the Biden with the recon mission. The Biden just like being an artifact was incidentally a problem, more so than I anticipated. want to try out these new alchemy cards, but because we're playing a single day format, we're not guaranteed to actually like see them at all. So all I can do is like play decks that have them in them. See how that works out. And Bridges away. They don't want to go down. That seems. Although I guess some of these cards aren't as good. Considering that I don't have like a million Fire CFX on hand. We don't play the snare right. Got twists that we could play. I could play mono black. I could play some blue black cards. I do need to work on Emmett Silk combo deck. Gotta work on the Ultimate deck. Today's gonna be weird because today is also the start of the new algorithm for matchmaking on Brawl. They're going to ignore MMR and they're going to try and focus entirely on Commander with a little bit of the 99. Like the 99 is still going to matter, but it's going to be heavily weighted by the Commander itself. So we go in with something like an Ultimecia. I can't imagine that Ultimecia is going to have like a lot of the quote heavier weights, but also, you know, deck weight doesn't mean that your poorly built deck is going to function. So who even knows? I guess we'll just try a few things out and see how it goes. Yeah, I could play Matoya. Matoya is a really good standby, but I also really like working on the other decks. Yep, that do be Kefka. That do be Kefka. Okie doke. So this isn't gonna cut it. Barrel's expertise to bounce stuff, Chupacabra, subtlety. This hand doesn't do any first several turns. Power Stone, Flesh Quarter. I swear to God, Twitch keeps flickering in and out on me, and I don't know. Hand doesn't do a whole lot either. Like, I guess it's got the flesh. Got the Power Stones, got the Wrath. I'm gonna mulligan. I'm gonna get a free win for that, I guess. I mean, Malcolm probably gets bolted immediately. I have to keep this 5. I think this 5 is better than any 4 that I could get, so I put back your Hulk, put back expertise, and I have to put back the Power Stone. And I just pray that... No, I get to keep the Power Stone. Or maybe I'm actually supposed to keep... I could see that, but the Power Stone helps me, like, cover if I just, like, start lacking a link. You can make a case for either one of these, I think. But maybe opponent just thought I was taking too long on my mulligans. Let's try that again. Didn't get it good. Not get good sleep last night. Nope, did not get good sleep. So if I'm a little out of it today, then push, Edict, Rider, Troll. Good enough for a deck like this. We go push, Troll, Swamp Cycle. Go grab... Do I want to grab a Surveil land? I'm definitely grabbing a land. The question is just like... Oh, yeah. Absolutely, we're gonna Birds of Paradise before they can convert it into like a flare. Hey, Watery Grave. That does the job. That does the job very nicely. Go ahead. Now I'm still good to go ahead and... Don't need to hold up Murderous Riders, do I? Don't think I do. Go and grab... Fail. Arcane Signet. Don't need that. I've got Edict for whatever they play next. Then we've got Murderous Rider with Snappy and Fatal Push back out. Somber is problematic. We're going to go ahead and just the Edict now because the Edict gets a lot worse when they can actually start spamming. And it has a power 4, so it is actually still contributing towards reducing the cost on Galta. I can play the Watery Grave and hold up. Alright. Roll power. Like, it's a 4/4. Galta currently costs 12. That turns Galta into an 8 drop. What are they going to do? Play a big dumb idiot that I just killed right away? I mean, Toski is actually, like, really good, right? For exactly this moment. Which is, really funny if you think about it. Alright, so, like, first off, I'm going to attack. And then I am going to... Why Snappy response? I feel like I Snappy now. And then we are just going to go ahead and Edict. Oh, actually... Yeah, just Edict now, because then they lose a piece of card advantage. Lucky, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, yep, that's Nissa. I'll just take the 3. Yeah, that's fine. And then we Murderous Rider Nissa. I mean... Like, I could just, like... If they have Tamio, how do I feel about that? Do I care about them having a land? I care a little bit because that means... Galta gets online. Nissa currently lets them tap for 4. Okay. Then, yeah. They get to save themselves some 2. I still have a wash away here. They have 6 mana. And if I get to untap, then... Whenever non-token creature comes into play... Like, they're gonna die in a couple more hits. If I just, like, chill... Got, like, 3 in the graveyard. Nowhere near close to being able to use Ultimate effect. Like, yep, they have Surak out. They have Prime Time. What if I just, like, went no? Honestly, Galta ain't what she used to be. Not when you can actually just, like, keep things off the board. And also, like, you know, if you have, like, a million point spells for removal. We only played, like, 1 real game so far, but I'm already thinking that maybe I want to put in just a Ultimisia just to help out. What would we have? Like, obviously, there's the enchantment. Search for a scan. Which I'm not playing in this deck. Yeah, flow states in here. Consult the star charts. There's a lot of good and whatnot. The 8 mana to transform Ultimecia is, in theory, pretty good when you can combine it with something like an Oglar. Because she wants you to exile 8 cards to help pay for the cost. Oglar putting the creatures into graveyard means that you get to Time Walk, get the big 7/7 Menace card, and then you also get a bunch of zombie tokens to attack with. But we're also kind of playing this as like a mere tempo card. So really just kind of have to figure out it here. Like Search for Escanta is a slower card. This is a slower commander. She costs 5. And then she doesn't, like, you know, quote, limit break till 8. So you also have to wonder all these heavier hitters are going to be on. Because these are some good haymakers. But I wonder, like, how much we need those big haymakers versus just having more enablers and more pieces. I guess theoretically, Ultimecia herself is a haymaker. Need to play some more games. Right now, unfortunately, she feels a little too mid-range. And you know how I feel about mid-range chat. At least in Brawl. Renault was having the same issue yesterday. So we need to, like, figure out our direction. Go into it. Lyra Dawnbringer, that's one I haven't seen in, like, forever. Wash Away's not bad. Counterspell, Reanimate. Ooh, Troll Cycle Reanimate? 10,000%. Okay, so then... start here. I already have one swamp. I can roll to pick up a Shockland. I could even theoretically just like... No, it's gotta be a shock. I was gonna say I could just grab an island, but no, you... And rather than just play the troll out into like a swords, I'm gonna hold on for like 1 second. Righteous Valkyrie. Easy enough, we can go ahead and mana leak that for tempo. Troll Sun, that's gonna be fun later. Back my troll. Yep, and now we've got troll with backup. Troll will kill in 6 hits plus 1. Yeah. Inspiring Overseer doesn't matter. You get a redraw off that. You get another land. By the way, Callan, thank you so much for dropping the redeem. Yahane's expertise can help out. Ooh. I'm not going to use Wash Away's Cleave ability if I can. Seraph of the Dawn. You know, maybe taking away MMR was a mistake. Oglar, okay. And then... I don't want to Yaheen that. I guess the Seraph of the Dawn does, like, give them life back, so that way they're winning on the race a little bit more. Like, they're gonna go to 16. I can beat them down. Force Negation, actually pretty good. Because it means now I can go into a Yahane's Expertise pretty easily. And that would slow the clock down by like half, right? But I think I'm still fine though. Like, they're gonna die in 2 hits. I'm gonna die in more than 2 hits. This does unfortunately kind of show up. Angel of... I will let that resolve. Because now my expertise for one. Oh, they're getting really aggressive with that. Okay. Cityscape leveler, I would gladly take a land. Oh, I can even just like Mightstone right now, huh? Yeah, I can Mightstone -5, -5. Rough? No. -5, -5. The Angel of Mercy. Get in. 7. Am I overthinking this? I think I'm overthinking this. There goes Oglard. I messed up. I was supposed to attack with Troll first. I forgot about that. Whoops. They might actually just get this just from the fact that, like, they have had angels beating me down in the air to keep up with the troll. Yep, Speaker of Heaven. It's gonna be crazy if that's what ends up happening. Yep. Okay, yeah. I blew my wrath a little too fast. And now I am actually going to die. What the hell? Okay. Okay, opponent got there. Let's see. If I had done that, they would be at 10. That wouldn't be enough. Definitely blew the wrath too soon. So then, what's my out? I am no longer the aggressor. Damn. Okay, yeah. We drew lands a little bit too soon. If I had drawn target removal a little faster, that could have worked. Yeah, that's GG's. I was gonna say this feels a lot like bullying, but you know, magic do be magic, and it just worked out. Definitely makes me feel worse for including some of those more costly cards that are supposed to be, alternative payoffs to ramping out. Let's see. Using that Wrath a little early was the pinnacle point, so if I had used my Mightstone, Weakstone instead, gotten rid of, like, the Lifelinker, I probably would have been okay. Brainstorm, Bitter Triumph, 3 up again. Carbon, Vanguard, Aviator. We've got 2 tap lands that we have to worry about. First and foremost. Like I said, chat, you are just, you're not going to just because you are playing against less powerful cards does not mean that you are excused from building your deck correctly. We trade out some of those heavy hitters for just, like, you know, bread and butter removal or draw. We're not having that issue. Board 1? Alright. Ooh, nowhere to run is here. Put back. Yeah, put back Snow-Covered Swamp and Sunken Hollow, and I'll redraw the Sunken Hollow, I guess. I don't know, I'm kind of locked into my... I know where to run in here. Another target creature control gets... Otherwise I could play the Flesh Gorger. I think I'm kind of into playing the Flesh Gorger right now. And then next turn we can know where to run with Bitter Triumph. Ice Rot Sentry. Whenever this attacks, you can pay 2. Tap target creature and opponent controls. Whenever you tap an untapped creature, this gets 2/1. I mean... Okay. Wait, no. Was I supposed to wait until to see if they double blocked? I think I was. I didn't even think about that. Like I said, I'm not playing the most tight right now. Mariel, Shield of Argive. We can kill that on. Yep, they can go ahead and hit me back for 2. And then this time I am going to actually like do the way that I'm. Yep, and then just go ahead, pay the 3. We'll play Malcolm on their turn. Start turning through our deck. As foretold, that is not a card I think a super aggro deck like Harbin wants to be playing. I feel like the overall play level of the Brawl player base is going to potentially spike from something like that. They scooped to a Malcolm. They played As Foretold and then they scooped to a Malcolm. Joke. You know, I am now really curious how other people's games, stuff like this is going. But also, I definitely need to make some tweaks on this deck. Okay, so I put in some really huge haymakers to just like make things feel better. Some of this stuff is just perfectly backs the board. Let me double check my full barrel's expertise for tempo because it helps. The reason I'm running the expertise effects because I want to be able to develop my board while also having to deal with the tempo of playing a deck. Well, it's actually a like with. We'll keep the Might Stone Weak Stone because that's part of how we pay for Ultimecia. Keep the Archive is really good for helping pay for Ultimecia. Resco Clockmaker comes with a Midnight Clock. Weirdly enough, I don't think that's the kind of effect we want. Got Talismans for Dominance. Washington is a flash creature. And go ahead and play like some fun flash creature. So game. We're already playing Brazen Borrower. Also like 5 piranhas that we can use for anything that just gets really difficult to deal with and that we don't actually want to. There's also Fairy Mastermind. Yep, there's Brazen Borrower. Good all-around utility card. We get to play Opposition Agent, absolutely for sure. Got Click here. Solid beater. Oh, can't forget Tidebinder. Down cards. I don't think we need to go like full in, like don't need Nightclub Bouncer, but Fencer is good here. Definitely want gold up. Sure. Like another. Yeah, Bitter Bloom Bearer, actually. Oh, yeah. I could run like Persist or Necromancy. I think it's better just to have like creatures out. Urtai Resurrected. Or replace. Check. And then we can talk about exactly how many more 4-cost rocks we need to run to start hitting that magic 8 number. Thank you for the shrimp check, Fron. Hashiton Scarab's Fist. This guy's only a problem if he's on the board and they have the additional 3 mana. He's very boltable. Whenever you discard a creature card, you can pay 3 mana. If you do, make a tapped token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 4/4. And it's still in the graveyard too. Tidebinder's okay. If we can like draw a swamp, this is a really good hand. We have a Thunder Trap Trainer to help us dig for a cantrip. That should help us out. We just have like a lot of good tempo here. They went for Tri-Land to start with. Yep, that works. We're just going to go ahead and play Thunder Trap Trainer now. I'm looking for Mana Leak, Thoughtseize, eaten by Piranhas. What am I looking for with a with 2 mana backing up? Probably Mana Leak to stop or Thoughtseize to start. I kind of like eaten by Piranhas to like slow their commander down. Not really like what I would call efficient, but it means that we can hold up Eaten by Piranhas and Tidebinder. Okay. Well, we do eat a Thoughtseize, so at least we have some redundancy. Like the Tidebinder they can kill. I feel like it is just take the Eaten by Piranhas. Unless they have a reanimate, in which case... Okay, yeah, that works. I can't play the Grief. Okay. So they're not going to play out Hashton, not when they know that we have like 2 tempo type cards. Okay, so that's Ronut. That's an enabler that they really, really needed. Alright, here's good old-fashioned Grief. Alright, what do they have? They have Creature, Right of the Moth for Reanimate, Zombify for Reanimate, Cold Steel Heart, and Toxrill. As weird as it is, I'm going to take the Cold Steel Heart. Like, they can keep all their reanimation effects, that's whatever. Mox Amber, which doesn't... Well, I guess it helps tap for mana, right? Is a black skeleton. Yeah, that's not nothing. Yeah, that's not nothing, but, like, they still need creatures in the card to make that, right? Maybe I should have given it a chance to block, because then that turns off the Mox Amber. Hold on, you're actually almost 7? Nah. I can drop ultimate. Like, they have a Toxrill that I am a little worried about. I also don't have an amp. Yeah, they would be able to cast a run and turn the Mox Amber on anyway. Why are they playing Inquisition when they know that I have a Wormcoil on my hand? Riddle me that, Batman. Okay, you know what? You can get Hashton back. That's fine. Like, Hashton is still like 4 mana. And now I'm just going to go ahead and drop that Wormcoil. Like, they are under so much pressure right now. Rona can go ahead. Ah, there's the Toxrill. Now, okay. You know, maybe without a discard outlet, it actually a lot better to just, like, get rid of... Maybe I didn't think that through. Oops. Yep, okay. Yeah, now Toxtrol puts a counter on everything. That's whatever. Still attack. Everything but the Thunderclap trainer. And then, yeah, we're gonna go. I think we can go. Go ahead. Caress them. Turn. Okay, yep. And then they make slugs, that's fine. I'm gonna let this resolve, and then I'm gonna play a Brazen Borrower. That should just, like, game. And they have flies, right? They can't even, like, well, no, they can pay the cost for the Flesh Gorger. Flesh Gorger's gonna die, and then they... The Flooded Strands is kind of hedgy. Okay. Still not sure why they played Iniquity. Had a note. Okay, thank you so much for the hydrate, Buddy. I promise I am being very hydrated. Okay, yeah, that's a discard outlet too. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna let that resolve. This Fresh Gorger, they make a token. Go ahead and flash in Brazen Borrower. They could still kill the Borrower. They do. They discard Jin-Kataxias to make that work. This is so odd. Okay, so like Wormcoil Engine attacks. Raids. This is what? Exile 3 cards. This creature gets first strike into... I have 7 cards in green. Attacks. This is such a weird position to be in. I guess if they bring this back, then Jin-Kataxi is actually just... This is so weird. These games start off with me feeling like super confident in the matchup, and then I make a misplay, and then suddenly the whole tables are turned. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I guess if they don't top deck a land, they can't reanimate Jin. Oh wait, nope, they just have it. So yeah. So that Bloodcheese Thirst that we had actually just like sucks now. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant sorcery. I can't actually anything with that. I'm just gonna pick this up. That's another game that I just dropped out of nowhere. Okay. I mean, deck's still a work in progress, so there is that, but like at the same time, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to today. GG, opponent. G. I did also take a Cold Steelheart when I had a chance to like actually pull one of the reanimation spells. So maybe I was actually just being too cute again. I keep doing that. Where I keep thinking like 3 steps ahead, where I just like completely hopscotch the first one. Counterspell Malcolm, removal for Ral Zarek. Good enough. Ral Crackling Wit. And we get a Force Negation too. Yep. Electromancer is good. Do I hit the Electromancer now? I feel like I almost have to, right? Like, the Electromancer is just such a huge... We pray that I draw another blue card to protect this Malcolm. I guess Force Negation also stops. I can say this for certain. I am immediately noticing the difference with the new matchmaking algorithm. Ugh. Not really sure. One's mulling over. He's not with a tap out. No MMR is such a weird. Like, this is all new. This is, you know, theoretically how normal Magic should go. But MMR does a really good job of keeping you at the level of play that you should be for, like, skill appropriately. Like, theoretically, you should be evening out about around 50%. And it's also, like, really good for stress testing decks. But this is also, like, an unranked casual queue. So the flip side of that being that if you're trying to play a more casual quote commander, then you end up having to work significantly harder. And that was causing me a lot of frustration, personally. Like, I would play against decks like Taval, where the commander does everything. It is a self-contained engine, so it's a lot harder for decks with weaker commanders to keep up with them. Opponent may have decided that they are no longer interested in playing. Like, hey, you know what? Fair enough. You are not obligated to play Magic the Gathering. And if it is your prerogative to no longer play Magic, well then, like, yep, I'm choosing to stay in this game. But also, like, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just really, really had to go to the bathroom, right? And it's just like, no, my bowels are ready to explode. I want to believe that that's what any given quote roping is. I have emotes turned off for a reason, so I will never know. I will never know if they're just trolling or whatever. This is gonna be such a weird puzzle. Like, on the one hand, I do need the mana to pay for the ultimate transformation. At the same time, though, I don't know that with these Final Fantasy Transform cards that you actually build for the transformation. We're just gonna have to play more games to find out. And now that the queue has changed, I don't know. Foreign collects monstrous. Okay. Got eaten by piranhas, subtlety, fatal push for mana dorks. This is a pretty good hand. You can fatal push. Fatal push behind. You don't push, and they don't push, then they're no friends of mine. No turn one play. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a counter on this creature. When it dies, to shoot. I am going to go ahead and grab a Shockland because I need to be able to hold up Mana Leak on the next turn. I'm going to go ahead, we'll Watery Grave, and we'll push that. Just so that way it stays under control. Ponder is a great pick. But I'm not going to cast that. I'm also experiencing just a little bit of lag on my head. Bristly. I've got this eaten by piranhas. I am aggressively trading one for... So I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with these plays. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual Subtlety? It's very possible. I should wait until after. But... Oh, wait. No. Whoops. I'm going to wait one more turn. Like, the ability to hard cast Subtlety is Zen. Okay, so they're going to plot Railway Brawler. That is fine by me. Sunken Hollow comes into play tapped unless you have 2 more basics. I could play Ultimate. Do I care about the Railway Brawler? Maybe not, but if I get Ultimecia going, I'm pretty happy about that. Then let's go. I guess I'll just... If I get to resolve Ultimecia, then I guess I don't care about the Ponder. I can use that as a pitch card. Boggart Trawler, nowhere to run. I don't want either. Railway Brawler. If this next card can't be countered, this is a problem. I do have to worry about Vorinclex coming down. Give combat, put a... Sure, that's fine. Yep, puts a counter on Brawler, that's fine. My turn. Barrel's Expertise. Return up to 3 creep. Then I get to play a thing. Okay, how do I want to do this? I can bounce Railway Brawler and Innkeeper. I can't do that and pay for everything. Eaten by Piranha. Go ahead and attack and surveil. Brazen Forward. Actually, good tempo, I think. That's 7 cards already. Barrel's Expert. I can also just like ponder. Do that. Ponder and grab. Ooh, I do like all these. All some pretty good cards. Except for the Davriel. That is. You can put that away with. Yep, if you put one of our permanents on a counter, you put that instead. Yep. Guess the turn 8/8. Now we're just going to go ahead and bounce. Okay, they spent their turn leveling up Ink instead of like doing something a little bit more sexual. Okay with that. Put away the Withering, hold on to the Click. Hold on to the Click so that way we can just like cycle some problematic stuff away in the turn. And now we can Subtlety like whatever their next play is. And then we can even, like, draw step, put it away. Love that for me. And they're done. Okay. I think that's actually... You know what? I don't mind that. Like, we don't get the transform to Ultimecia, but it's kind of like... Maybe it's actually more like with Garland, where just having a card that curates your next draw is good enough, and then if we happen to like transform it, then like that's also just good enough. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like that angle of attack more. Means we get to focus less on the actual ramp package. Just don't worry about actually transforming her. Just use her as a 4 or 5 good card filter. Which means I think the Flesh Gorge is still good. Cut out the Power Stone. Cut out Key to the Archive. Might Stone and Weak Stone, because that's actually a very good versatile card that also helps pay for Ultimecia. Helps pay for some of our utility lands. You can keep the Dominance and the Signet. Like, having a little bit of rank can help out with a deck like this. And then add in a couple more good cards to help push this. Like Days, a really good tempo card for a deck like this. Then we can even grab like a really good threat. Like we could even put Sholdred to the deck. It'd be great if we had a card that was just like really good at drawing cards. Gee, only we were playing like 2 colors that were really good at drawing cards. Alright. Are we already playing Lorien Revealed? We're not playing Lorien. Not to be. That's the question. It's really good cycle. Helps us hit our lands. And am I not playing Force? Oh no, I didn't put Force of Will into this deck yet. Damn. Okay. Welcome to the new age. Welcome to the new age. Whoa. Radioactive. Yeah, on the one hand, it's a little disappointing that I don't think we can realize the consistently transforming villain decks. Like, I think Kefka has an easier time doing it. I think Vanilla and Fane are surprisingly easy to get going. Their expertise. Their Clap Trainer. We're up against Omnomnomnath. This is a... We have the Flooded Strength to start with. We can Surveil, go into no run to kill a Mana Dork. And then use Thunderclap to try and dig for more removal on top of that. I like that. You know what's weird? We're playing through Final Fantasy VIII right now, and we just have not seen Ultimecia yet. We've seen Edea the Sorceress, but we haven't seen Ultimecia. And I would like, and apparently, according to Farm, we're like halfway through the game, so it's like, where's our big villain? Where is she, chat? Where is she? And if Edea is so important, why was she relegated? The side villain. Lucky, thank you so much for the Hydrate Redeem. Thank you. Surveil trigger. I am not in a position to say no to a swamp. So get that out here and get the halfling before she untaps. Especially if they had to use a secluded courtyard to name halfling? What? I mean, like, you do you. Fabled Passage? Oh, that is really bad mana for them. So if I can untap with this Thunder... Yeah, this Thunder Trap Trainer finds a counterspell. There's a good chance that we just get to counter Omnath as soon as Omnath comes down. Eaten by Piranhas is a good second. And we'll also be able to play Ultimecia on curve at this point. Yep. A lot of casual play... I'm going to say it again. I think a lot of casual players are going to be in for some Rude Awakenings. This is -5, -5. We can... Oh, we can use it as a draw. This is removal. We can hold on to that. Yeah, it's going to help us with Ultimate. Like, not going to worry about that. They're playing all of their ramp. That does help them, like, recast on. Force of Will is a pretty... I want... If I use the Force of Will as a... I can just use Force of Will as, like, an actual ad hominem counter spell. Yep, joint exploration, that's fine. Like, if I use Force of Will as a counter spell, I counter Omnath. They have to recast Omnath. Alternatively, I can... Force of Will if they naturalize. Tireless Tracker. Sure, you got it. Yep. That might be a Yahenni's expertise. It also might be... Let's see. What do I do with expertise? What am I supposed to do with expertise? Like, I actually don't want them to just, like, pump up that Tireless Tracker too much. I can go Wormcoil Engine. I can Force of Will pitch the Eaton. That's not good. I don't like that one bit. The Omnath starts ticking up. They get a redraw. Surprisingly intricate game. Let's just, like, hold off for a turn then. I only have, like, 2 blue. I can use the Henny's expertise with, and then hold up the... Yeah. Maybe I attack with the Thunderclap Trainer. Because if they... Oh, that might have been a mistake, actually. If they have, like, a way to pump up the Tireless Tracker after the expertise. Well, if you stop playing so many goddamn TCG, you'd be learning more about the villain. But then I wouldn't get to play Triple Triad. And I wouldn't get to have Squall's, you know, ultimate weapon. Other elementals you control get 1/0. This creature gets +1/+1. Until you control, that's fine. Don't care about that. One more land, though. Elder Profanes. Not a land, but that's pretty cool. Like, am I just willing to turn this into a land? I think I'm comfortable taking a few hits here. Like, all they're doing is ramping. They haven't, like, hit any of their payoffs just yet. So if I start using this no, I can't use the Castle Vantress to hit my next land source because I don't have any other blue sources. This is... We're kind of in a scenario where we just gotta start playing chicken. That is a card that I am not allowed to let resolve. So I do gotta Force a Will. Yep, now they can go ahead, they can drop Omnath. They can go ahead, they can play a land, get a redraw on Omnath. And then they do have 8 or more cards, so they get a redraw. I have Wash Away. I can Mightstone, Meekstone, get rid of that while holding up Wash Away. That's pretty big, actually. It means I'm going to take another hit from that Trailblazer, but I think the tempo for that is really important. Especially since now that Ultimate is going to come down. We're just going to be able to do more stuff. Like, I can go ahead and actually drop the Wormcoil now and hold up Eaten by Piranha. That's going to be a huge stabilizing factor for me. Alright, here's where the game really starts kicking off. Ooh, Phyleth comes into play, make tokens. What if... No. Alright, so that's like a bunch of plants. They're not going to be able to cast Omnath too easily. So that's upside. Better Triumph. I am going to start attacking because we just do not lose this space. They drop like a Crater Hoof. This does get a little awkward though, because I can't hold up extra mana, so they just like go crazy. That's gonna be it, but I need stuff. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and eat it. I'll eat this 3 life just to like hold stuff up. And surprisingly, we're actually to the point now. That was a activation. Yep. 2 damage. Any target. Equal to the number of elementals on the field. Okay, but what if it was skeleton instead? Now, this doesn't actually perfectly work, because now they can just block with the Omnath. Very on fort. But I'm at least going to make them work for it, right? Surveil, Torrential Gearhulk, and Ponder. Wow, I can't believe it. The second that we just, like, shifted back, we're actually going to be able to do the thing. Hold on. I have 9 cards in here. I want to leave the Force of... Yeah, so eat everything but the Force of Will, please. And I'm going to show you why here in a second. Because we get to untap with Torrential Gearhulk. It might be a little convoluted, but it works. Okay, yep. And then... now we get just like another creature. We're gonna go ahead and Force of Will back. And we win. Yeah, I think that I definitely think that solidifies my theory here. We are going to be playing this like a Dimir tempo deck. With just like something huge to do late game, if it ends up coming to that. Definitely much happier with how consistently all of our interaction. It's still a little mid-rangey, but I don't know. Is it tempo or control at that point? Because tempo tends to be a bit more aggro. Then again, without the MMR constantly matching you to like super fast decks, maybe this actually just is the right age to return to mid-range. If nothing else, it was a good reminder that just because we're playing against slightly weaker decks does not mean that we get a free pass on building whatever we want. I said it on Reddit and I'll say it again. You gotta build good decks if you want to win the game, otherwise you're just gonna lose to like whatever. Also, I didn't notice, but goddamn, Lucky hit his 100 stream streak. Congratulations, Lucky. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm still going to be fairly low energy for the remainder of stream. Out, Crunchy. Double check our connections, make sure they're going good, and are excellent. If so, like, okay, here's just like my personal observation so far. MMR was really doing a lot of heavy lifting with regards to some of these decks, huh? Like, part of MMR isn't just like your wins and your loss ratio and your win-loss streaks. It's also partly your collection. So, players who have more well-filled out collections, the expectation is that you're going to be playing against other people who are similarly invested, so that way you're not just bullying newer players who haven't had a chance to actually like build a whole lot. Hello, hello. I think I have a cold. Hey, Sam. I'm sorry to hear about your cold. Sorry to hear that. We're gonna run this real quick because I want to make sure that we have a new Wondrous Tales to see if we get front lines. Oh, right. For a second, I thought I was queuing in the front lines, but that's not the case. Now we have a new queue that is theoretically going to enable more casual. Hopefully, that means that we see less whinging from the players who are just constantly trying to figure out exactly, you know, what it is about their deck that's putting it in the quote hell queue style matchups. Because you know how much I hate baseless speculation. Especially for things where it's like, you know, guys, we have a rough idea of how this knows. Maybe we don't know the exact thing, but you know, you're not gonna get better by just speculating. Doesn't want to skip job for a couple of days. Don't hug Sam. Yeah, don't hug Sam, Prawn. Can't afford to miss work. My husband does something that he had yesterday, just disagreeing with him. And I don't know if it's something that I fed him or if it's just something he picked up from he was out and about yesterday. Okay. So what do we have to do today as far as like Final Fantasy chores? Well, I am doing front lines each day because we have the pass that I actually want to fill out on. I didn't really want to do that while we were doing all those society chores. Now that the society chores are done, it's much less up to you to, you know, have the thing. I basically just didn't want like 2 daily things that I had to keep track of. And I think that's going to be the rule of thumb going forward, chat. I think I can handle 1 daily thing that I need to do, and then everything else needs to be just the weekly progressions. The things that you can only progress, you know, the things that you can progress on a much wider timeline. So, once we're done with front lines, I'm gonna go pick up some tutorial hunts. We've got special deliveries to do. The weekly tales have also been just like having leveling roulettes, and leveling roulette is like a daily thing that I can do. But what I'm going to do, once we reach the PvP goal, once we reach the mount or glam or whatever it is this season, I think it's like a actually. Then we can go. Then the daily thing can go ahead and be like, quote, leveling roulette. because then I can start working on leveling the tanks. I can work on leveling the healers. And then when PvP season refreshes, then we can go ahead and use that time to level up DPS. Because we just don't have the time to sit and queue. It's weird. I want to burn time because we're doing a yapping stream right now. But I also don't want to, like, miss out on the stuff that I'm trying to use this to do and I should not. That new brawl queue though, it's on the one hand, I'm not entirely so like we have no idea how commanders are like weighted, right? Like we don't know entirely what the criteria is. There's just kind of like a general vibe in terms of power, how strong any given commander is. Like Nadu, busted. Ajani, busted. Tamio, pretty busted. Tajik, busted. To the point where those cards were banned from the ranked queue that they're putting up in order to like test ban lists and like get a better idea of like how they want to curate the format. All right, now we go. So the fact that an Ultimecia, which is in my mind a largely untested, unproven commander, will match up against something that's a little more popular, like an Omnath, for example. You know, it's just a 3-color Omnath. Is interesting just in a general. Is this because they believe that this is a well match, or is this actually just like the variance of, well, there isn't anyone around that actually matches the quote actual number, so this is the closest approximation from what's available. And that type of speculation, I'm also not necessarily like a fan of it. At least in terms of like, you know, the whole why is my deck matching against this thing type of complaining, rather than like, you know, using this as a metric for like exactly what the deck should be doing. Because if we're losing to, you know, 2x Angel Flyer beatdown, I think that has more to say about like our deck than where it's supposed to be placed in the quote meta, you know? So in that regard, it might be a little clearer what the issues are. I want to find like some sort of card advantage for Ultimecia. So maybe I just need to worry about like playing. Actually, you know what? Playing smaller draw spell effects would play very nicely with her, I think. So rather than, no, we still play some of the digging cards, but playing like a Knight's Whisper type thing. That's probably where we actually want to be with her, because it does fill up the graveyard for if we do hit that mana sink. Gotta make sure that she stays well stocked and we don't have to rely on a quote engine. The issue with engines in a 1-on-1 format is that while they are a lot of fun, I am a big fan of, you know, engine gaming. They're very costly to set up. Like if you're playing against an aggressive deck, you just don't have the time to get it going. If you're playing against a control deck, like you don't want to match them on playing the super long game. You want to close it out as quickly as possible, because the longer the game goes on, the more they're the ones who's going to be favored. And then it does like absolutely nothing against a combo deck, right? Alright, let's go see if we got bingo. Alright, chat. How many lines do you think we're going to get? Here's the score. We have, if you look at the little grid here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that this could go in. This is a 50-50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 spots, 4 of which will give us a line. Potentially 2 lines if we're lucky. Now, I don't actually see a way for us to get 2 lines. But I've completely missed stuff before. So, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, we got one. Yay! I will take one-liners all day long. I don't actually need the 2 lines. The 2 lines are really good for getting the minions and stuff that are online. If I get them, I get them. But honestly, the fact that the 1-liners give MGP is the biggest value right now. Yeah, I do have fashion report that I can do each week. And in fact, chat, I need to start doing fashion reports on Monday. I need to make sure that on Monday we start doing fashion reports. So that way I can actually like start farming MGP a little more efficiently. I've just been so not on that because it doesn't come out until like the weekend. And the weekend I'm not usually like doing any of the grind stuff unless there's a video for me to watch. But even then I've got Dragon Quest XI to fill that out right now. Also, hold on, that's just real. I also have that I should go do it. And then I can return back here. We can pick up a new quest. Basically, Tuesday should be a setup day, right? Tuesday should be a setup day. Tuesday should be, you know, make sure that you have everything that you need to succeed for the rest of the week. It's also just been a long while since I've come back to ARR, do the hunt. Now that I think about it, having one line can be bad. Do you know why? No, Sam. Why would one line be bad? Pause champ. Pause champ. Pause champ. Pause champ. Pause champ. We gotta come back here for deep dungeons. I want to... There you are. Okay. And then, yeah, like I said, we need to make sure... Oops, that was the wrong one. Every time I play Ninja, I gotta remember what my... Ah, dang it didn't work. The joke was that I had one line joke and the punchline was exactly the same line. Whoops. Okay, yep, there we go. Now we can go ahead and return. We'll pick up some new... C'est la vie. C'est la vie indeed. C'est la vie. Actually, Sam, I have a question. So, like, c'est la vie is a French expression, right? It means that's life. What's... Or that's how life goes, kind of. Like, so goes life, something to that effect. I don't know what the actual translation is. I just know that that's the vibe. But, like, what would be the Spanish equivalent? Ace Vita? No, that can't be right. That can't be. Either. Allied skill. What do you sell again? That's equipment. You also sell Aetherite tickets. Why did I not remember this? Oh, right. And you can also get the unidentifiable bones and seeds and the Alexandrite. The Alexandrite, but that's... Rather, that's so much for Alexandrite. Get the siege. You can get the ready maps. I think I have all the right. Weapon mini. Yeah, and then you can get all the stuff for building, but we're just in. There we go. I don't know why I ever sweat it. I don't know why I ever sweated at not having enough Aether. God damn. Thank you. Thank you, easy seal farming. You could go with Así es la vida. That's how life is, or Es lo que es. It is what it is. I like Así es la vida. I think that has the right vibe. Alright, now we can just go to Ishgard. Actually, if I have this many Aetherite tickets, I could probably lower the threshold on what I'm spending, right? By the way, chat, if you were not aware, there is a little cogwheel here at the top right that you can use. 400. That's fine. We could lower that to 300. We did it a lot more aggressively. Maybe that's actually good. We'll burn through the tickets a lot more, but as long as we're keeping up with all our stuff. Fun fact, never say yes la vie. Never say c'est la vie to someone who has no idea of French, but does speak Spanish. They'll hear c'est la vie, which means I saw her, blank, and people will fill that blank with the worst option you could think about. Nani? You know? That's good to know. That is very good to know. Alright, so we got our weekly hunts. Yeah, we got our weekly hunts. Now we can go over to Ideal Shire. Grab Chloe's Wondrous Tales. Go ahead, do our front line. And then we can do custom delivery. Because custom delivery is going to be the next thing we need to do. Not just like for the materia. Okay, I've come around on the materia. Like, I have this thing where I get enamored with the idea of like doing a thing that's ostensibly like a lot more trouble than just like and Phoenix Riser suit spotted. That's a lot harder than just like the simple fact of like I can ask my friends to help me out. I can ask friends to help craft me some level 70 gear, and I just have to get my crafting jobs to level 70. And honestly, that's gonna be fine because when we get the Stormblood, I'll just do it all again. In fact, Stormblood, I might have to actually do the thing because I won't be leveling as quickly or as fast. So, like, just enjoy the short and easy route option while I have. However, I still need purple scripts. I needed to get the master recipe book. And then I can always use it for, like, other things, including materia, which I can then sell. So, like, get back to doing the custom delivery. Yeah, give me the MGP. Oh, double check. Make sure that we're clear on Poetics. Yeah, we're good on Poetics. So I can continue to use the Anima Relic as a Poetics dump. Oh, wait. No, I was supposed to get a new book. Alright. And again, the reason is because there's a chance that Frontline will be... Nope, it's Rival Wings. But there was a chance, chat. There was a chance that it would be Frontline. So let's go ahead and queue into Frontlines then. We have to turn off unrestricted mode. And because it's Tuesday, everyone's here to get their new Wondrous Tales. Got some... Turn it. It feels weird, chat. It always feels weird when you've been doing something daily for so long and then you just like don't have to worry about it anymore. Like there's not a lot of reasons to keep doing movement chores after you do the capstone quest. You know what? While we're waiting, I can go ahead and set up for custom deliveries. Yeah, there's no reason not to, right? And then we're gonna use those custom deliveries to help level up to 70. I still haven't gotten around to starting the Ishgardian Restoration. Like I went to the quest to go to the Empyrean, but I haven't actually like started anything. I really do want to try using that as like special stream stuff. And I think that's one of the things that we're definitely going to be doing when we get to streamer anniversary. Okay, so Near Eastern and you have Mogstalgia. Weirdly enough, no. Okay, so like, I like the Moogle quest. I actually like them the best of the three, Near Eastern. Nope, I need 18. I need... I like them the best of the three society quests. Kind of like I like the Akadal 9 when I was doing the Realm Reborn ones. That has to do partially with, one, the charm of the quest. The charm of the quest is really good. Moogles are adorable. I love Moogles. Kupo. Yaki especially loves Moogles, so you know that's a big one. It's a really cute story. You get dragons. Dragons play a much bigger role in the Moogle Society quest than they do in the bugs, so they've got that going for them. And you just like get to learn more about the Moogle culture. I like the Vath storyline, and then the Vanu Vanu one are just like a distant third because oh my god, I hated having to go around the sea of clouds. So often, in my experience, the society quest enjoyment factor correlates directly to how much I like the area, right? I did not care for the self quests because I hated having to navigate the deep woods. I hated it. I heckin' hated it because it felt so hard to actually find anything that I wanted. And also, like, you know, the trees and the barriers kind of make it difficult to navigate. And also, I hated the guy that's, like, you know, allegedly there to study the sylphs because he's such a little fuckboy and steals all of your academic credit for himself. I want that twink obliterated. I want him fucking obliterated. The Amalja? Good quest. Good quest. Not only do you get the tribal adopted cat girl, but you also get the nice open sand space. There's a little bit of finagling with there when you need to go into you know, a crevice or whatever, but that's fine because you still get the nice comfy open air. We gotta go murder some warriors. The Sahuagin, I fucking hated the Sahuagin for the same reason I hated the Selves. It was way too fucking obnoxious to have to navigate those caves in order to find what I wanted. Especially when there happened to be like, okay, I'm conflating the Sahuagin quests with the hunt requirements for the relic weapon, the Zodiac weapon. But I don't care. I hate that area. I hate having to navigate that area for repetitive chores. It's a cool looking area. It's got a lot of nice little nooks and crannies. But for questing, awful. Awful, awful, awful. And I will stand by that. Now, that being said, the kobolds also bad. Also bad. I do not like the mines. Do not send me to the mines anymore, Father, please. I have learned my lesson. We are not going to engage in industrial sabotage anymore. Just, I'm done. I'm done. So kobolds, sylphs, and the Sahuagin, they did not have a good showing for me. It was just the Amalja and the Akadal 9. But the Akadal 9, though, like, the woods are also a little hard to navigate at times, but it's mitigated by the fact that you have to do a specific amount of crafting in all the different areas. And while that was obnoxious to a fact, the fact that you were just crafting with the occasional gather, that was fine. That made it cool and novel. And then also, like, the story itself was enough to get me past any bumps in the road, right? because it's about a bunch of artificially created bird people striving to fly with artificial wings. They will take flight into their own hands. And the ones that worship Garuda, they have sold themselves to the folly and the dream that it will be given to them. You know, like many false gods are wont to do. Also, I'm pretty sure just aren't enough of there aren't enough of us here to stop them. Gotta pull back and run with the pack. Awava. Let's see. Well, time shield on my part, but we lost the node. So, like, those are the Realm Reborn ones, right? And then that's the Heaven Reborn ones. So, overall, the Mughals, the Akata 9, and the Amalja are the good society quests. I enjoy those. And everything else is like, you know what? I appreciate that these got smoothed down in Shadowbringers and so on. Because I did go and do the Combat Society quest. Starting in Shadowbringers, the Society quests go from 2 combat societies to a combat, a crafter, and a gatherer. Actually, you know what? Maybe that was a storm. Because when I think about it, let's see, I remember 2 societies. There's Lamia, and then there's Kojin. There's got to be like a 3rd one in somewhere. I can't remember what that would be off the top of my head. It's been so long since I've actually like done anything with Stormblood. Like literally since the first time I went through it. Oh, whoops! I am usually out of position. What the fuck am I doing here? Yep, and I'm just gonna take the express taxi home. Kojin had fishing. I don't know that that's the same as gathering. So for now, I'm going to operate under the assumption that things got cleaned up in Shadowbringers, because in Shadowbringers, that's when the societies actually start giving you a really sizable chunk of XP. It's another reason why I'm trying to get all of my DPS jobs to 71, because if I get them to 71, then they can also benefit from the easy XP of the fairy quests. Where is everyone? Currently in last place. So Shadowbringers has pixies. Endwalker, you have the Arxidora? Arxidodra? I can't remember how it's pronounced. But the elephant people. We have the elephant people in Endwalker. We have the Pelu Pelu in Dawn Trail. We have a big ol' S rank spawning right now. So if we win the team fight here, we pretty much have it secured. Except, I just know for a fact, we've got reds over there. There we go. And honestly, you can use the society quest that's just like carry you, right? Like right now, what we're doing frontline, and we have leveling roulette for tanks and healers, and we have Wondrous Tales. Yes, I have Baja, and I plan on using Baja quite extensively once Fran and I get to Shadowbringers. But I won't have to use Baja. I can actually work in my normal weekly rotation just by doing daily fairies and Wondrous Tales and frontline / leveling. Like as long as we do that little bit every day, we're gonna have no problem hitting max level on Thamora. And then once we have max level on Thamora, you know, that's just like one last thing that we have to worry about. One last thing that's on our chore list. Like, I guess we still do front lines because we want to hit the PvP payoffs, but that's also part of why I'm not in a rush to level up the Mora's off jobs. Because as long as there's PvP, and as long as we have jobs that we want to level, then, like, PvP experience is just never wasted. There's going to come a point where we are doing front lines and we are getting whatsoever. Feel like such a massive waste. But you have to remember that it's not a waste, because we already went and we did something that I couldn't even do on my main character account, because on my main character account, it just felt like I was spending so much time doing catch-up that I just kept getting bored. If I didn't have Thamora, we would be doing daily grind with Hiroko right now. With Thamora, because we're doing forward thinking, it feels a lot more productive, as opposed to constantly having to do catch up. As long as you don't reach 100 in all the jobs, there should not be a problem. I mean, that's what I'm saying though, right? Like, we are not going to be losing job experience as long as we're doing these on lower level jobs. But when we get to a point when all the jobs are leveled, that's when we kind of have to think, put up the shield because the gunbreaker's gonna murder. The gunbreaker murdered. But also, like, it's chill. It's gonna be a long while till we get to Shadowbringers as is. And my jobs right now, they're already, like, deceptively close to being 71. When we get to a point where I am working on tanks and healers, I'm gonna have PvP to level until the PvP season is over, and then we switch back to just doing leveling roulette. Leveling roulette is going to be the most efficient leveling experience, and the queue is going to be relatively quick because we are going to be a roll in need. We'll have a chance to see some silly parties, all that. It's just going to be, you know, nice and spread out because there's always going to be levels, but there's not always going to be levels. Fraulein just happens to knock out a couple of stones with one bird. We still have like 9 minutes on this? See, this is why we have to make sure we do the front lines first, but also why I'm glad that I set up for a week while we were waiting. You know, I do have to remember to actually, like, pop my ult time to time. Now, the real question is... who let the adders, like, run away with this? Wasn't me. I was too busy. We hit a bunch of wolf marks. Double check real quick. We're at 1,000 poetics. EVP's at 14,000. Just, like, double check the currency. We're all good there. I do need more ventures, so, like, we are going to start dropping these wolf marks into ventures here in a bit. But that is fine. We've got a cool 20 minutes to start doing all of our weekly stuff. I can start queuing into some of the Wondrous Tales, but I do want to make sure that we have some of the crafting done. So, double check which crafter I want to finish leveling real quick. It's probably just like whichever one's closest, right? Like the Weaver is already like 69, just needs to get to 70. And then Culinarian is 6'7", Leatherworker is 6'7", Carpenter is 6'7". We'll go ahead and top off Weaver. Small children going crazy in chat. That's one I heard from, like, a YouTuber I followed, and, like, I still think about that. Crafting. Alright, so we can just go into... God damn it. I thought I had it selected. Also, don't forget to eat egg. Doesn't give me the CP I need, but... Alright. And now's the part where I can just, like, chillax for a second. There was much silliness in the Discord server today when I posted my jackpot pictures from Dragon Quest XI in the server. I woke up at like 6:30 this morning. I am not sleeping good this week. So I was like, okay, you know what? I could go back to bed, but it's already super light out. So if I try sleeping on the couch, I'm going to have that in my face. If I go back to like bed, I am now aware of the fact that my husband is going to be spending the day at home recovering. So I'm going to be squished between him and wife. And that is also not comfortable. So I went and did the gambling. I did the gambling in Dragon Quest because I unlocked it the night before. And I was like, oh, I just like get like one of the best weapons this fast? Don't mind if I do. Especially since I'd done a little bit of research and found out that apparently it's really hard to go bankrupt after a certain point. Like, my understanding from what I was reading is that after so many spins on the slot, the game is going to put you into metal mode, which gives you twice as many winnings on all your stuff. And you just like, you get big cash. You get big cash. I have it written right here, right? That at one point, I had, after I got the big jackpot, which was like 200,000, I went and bought all the stuff I wanted. And then I went back and I was like, you know what? I've got like another half hour to kill while I finish this video that I started. Let's just go watch that. I'll stop gambling when I finish this video, actually. In the time it took me to finish that video, I went from 127k to 173 because I hit a metal mode that lasted like 30 spins. And before that, I was floating somewhere between like 127 and 130. So like, yeah. I was reading some posts online about people setting up auto clickers and just letting the game run overnight, and then they wake up with over 800,000 because the way the game's set up, you don't go bankrupt. I guess the general idea is that, like, you know, because most players might be like, or maybe they haven't been grinding or anything like that, and they're not going to have the gold to buy a bunch of tokens, so it is just kind of more like slot rolling normally than it is. But, you know, I did a ton of grinding, so I had a bunch of gold. I cleaned out my savings, and then I went to play the slots. And here's the other thing too. There is a very quick and easy autosave that's available once you enter the casino. Every time you enter and exit, it autosaves for you. You don't have to like go all the way down to the church. So you spend all your money on the tokens that you need, like at least 2k. I couldn't even afford that, but I came close. You autosave, you go out, you come back in, go forward and back, then once go forward. Then you go and you play the slots until you hit it big enough to like go autosave again, and you save scum. You save scum to get your initial fund. And then once you hit like 30k, which I actually ended up hitting pretty quickly thanks to the first metal mode I hit. You could just mindlessly spam the spin button until you have your desired amount. Auto clickers are fine, but I wouldn't use them unless the game has them. I mean, I would. It's a PC thing to start with, but like, it's the privilege of being a PC player to be able to use an auto clicker like that. But I don't know that I want to go through the hassle of setting up an auto clicker. And when I say hassle, I mean like you know, I'd probably ask my wife to help me set up and she could do it in like 2 steps. But also, you know, if it was for something super, super tedious, like if they have a thing that I can get only by having, say, 1,000,000 tokens. You know, Dr. Evil putting my pinky to the corner of my mouth. 1,000,000 tokens. And like, yeah, I'd probably use an auto clicker at that point. I was like, I don't mind the grind, but that is a little excessive even for me. And yet that's still strictly faster than what I was originally considering, which was grinding monster mobs to get the gold to pay for the coins, but I would still have to kill like 20,000 mobs to just outright buy it. Like, that strat works in Pokemon. I don't think that's really like the best one here. So I just did this. And now I can afford all the stuff. And honestly, I'm so over leveled for where I'm supposed to be in the story that I could probably take the penalty for switching over to the XP booster here that I got and still be fine. Sam's a cookie clicker player. I've been playing for the last 7.3 years, and I still don't have all the achievements. At this point, I don't really click the cookie, but use the in-game auto clickers and the in-game stock cookie stock market. In-game cookie stock market. This game's out of control. You know what's funny? My husband plays Poke Clicker. He got, I'm pretty sure he was to the point with that clicker game where he had like all, if not all of the Pokedex shiny for auto clicking, and like he beat it. He beat Poke Clicker, and he was still playing Poke Clicker, and then like he restarted playing Poke Clicker from the beginning again. Meanwhile, my wife and I are exasperated, being like, why are you using your high-powered PC for this? And he just looks at us and shrugs and goes, you know, number go up. I can't argue with that. But at the same time, Sam's current balance is 28.33 Novemdecillion cookies. That is definitely one of the numbers ever. Those games scratch the brain in a good spot. Number go up is so good. I mean, number go up is good, but like, I don't know. I've had my computer blow up like 2 or 3 times in my life. I feel like I don't need to have that energy in my life where I go, yep, this is a good use of my GPU. Now, you know, not all idle games are created equal. My wife loves a good idle game. But if I was gonna be, you know, running an idle game, I don't know how to end that sentence. Like, if I was gonna do that, I would probably have like a script or something going in like, say, Final Fantasy or a Dragon Quest or something like that. Like, strictly speaking, there are things that you can use to get your character to find, like, say, pieces of a cursed horde. Which you need for, oh, I did not need, whoops. I did not need 3. I guess I'll just hold on to this for next time, I guess, until Zoe needs them again. I got 9. My plan is to complete the game, and after that, buy it on Steam and load my save file with all the achievements so I could just sit and see how I get them all at the same time. Okay, that sounds pretty sweet, actually. That sounds pretty sweet. If there is a way to record that, I would love to see that, actually. That sounds incredibly satisfying. Oh, hey, it's that shark that Sam was telling me about. I used to play Can't-I Collection, and that was kind of like an idle game. It's the game where, like, you know, the World War II ships are all pretty girls. They've got destroyers, battleships, and stuff like that. My wife, before my wife was my wife, was the battleship Iowa. And I spent a lot of my time at the that's a new one. I spent a lot of my dead time at working at the game shop playing Kantai Collection and trying to like super maximize efficiency on it with my laptop. That may or may not have gotten me in trouble. That may or may not have been a small contribution factor to my employer's attitude towards me souring. Oh well. Where the game falters is, you know, being region locked to Japan because creators do not like Japanese. Look at this go. I might not even like finish all of these today, and like that's okay. That means that we have content for tomorrow. I can just like turn in whatever it is we have, then all that good enough for the day, and then keep up tomorrow. As long as we keep like a regular schedule, it's fine. Which, by the way, I got some clarification regarding next week. So next week, Wednesday will be the only day that I am not streaming. Again, this is for next week. I will still be streaming on Monday. I'll still be streaming on Thursday. It'll just be the Wednesday that I am taking off for therapy. And that is just because I kind of knew that thought this might be the case, but I really hoped it wouldn't be. Where it is just a lot emotionally to have to process a lot of emotions and then come on to stream. If I was just like doing editing work or whatever on my own, like that would be fine. But you know, having to be entertaining, it's a lot, especially when I have to spend almost an hour stewing on the things that I want to talk about on my way to therapy, and then reflecting and stewing on everything that I talked about in therapy after the fact, you know? And unfortunately, I'm not recording any sort of like, you know, drive to work style podcast anymore. I used to when I was working the warehouse job. And that was definitely one of my first forays into off-the-cuff content creation. Rosewater was onto something with that. Yep, always maximizing on time. Chat. I might not want to be a full-time streamer, but I can tell you, I know without a doubt that streaming is important to me because I've been trying to do it on and off for the past 15 years. Always in like some form or fashion. And oddly enough, always with like magic as a part of it. I love magic, and maybe it's like, it's okay for me to like commit more of my professional standing career to it. Okay, that's all the stuff. I have more things to turn in than Zoe actually wants. So I guess we're just gonna hang on to a couple of them until she wants Near Eastern artifacts again. Alright, so we're gonna make a delivery. God damn it. Yep. Now, actually, hold on. I didn't, you know, hold on. How many is it gonna take to level up? Just two. Just two. So the rest of this is, what we would call some extra glazing, actually. Please, please, please tell me that you want more. Guess it doesn't really like cost a lot though. I could just like toss out the remainder. I mean, I'm not a full-time baker, but I feel really good making a cake from time to time. One does not need to make the thing one likes into a job. I mean, like, but I want to. Or, like, not even that, like, I want to make it my job, but I do want to, like, make more stuff that would be, like, doing a job. Perfect. This should make a lovely addition for the Lowe's inventory. I've never seen those treasures quite so exquisite as those you procured for me. Why, you might be the most crafter, gatherer, and fisher that I've ever seen since, well, ever. Wait, did I just say fisherer? That's not a word. Is it? Compared to that, my own skills as a trader leave something to be desired. But is Loey going to give up? Not on your life. The children are depending on me. Wait, did I forget to feed them lunch again? Her heart's in the right place. That's what counts. Alright, chat. We're going to go ahead and call that a stream. Folks, if you know someone who plays Final Fantasy XIV, if you know anyone who's cool or awesome, maybe they play Magic the Gathering, maybe they play card games, maybe they're trans, maybe they're neurodivergent, maybe they're just someone awesome that you want to introduce to the community. We love passing on. We have a lead the raid redeem. No one redeems it. I always just go ahead and check out to see who I'm following who's already live. If you're on the YouTube side, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give the stream a like and share it with someone you think you might enjoy hanging out with us on the daily grind. We're going to go ahead and end the YouTube stream here. Boop. And then over on the Twitch side, let's see. What is